Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike. Wanted to go live to talk to a few people about how to market socially and how to become relevant to a target audience. So I see some people already hopping on. See some folks hopping on. I'm not going to be too long. I'm going to be sort of to the point, but I'm hoping to get some engagement. So if you have any questions, please comment. I'm going to try to get to as many of the questions as possible. So yeah, I've been posting a lot recently about different things people are doing that's not really considered best practices. And I think that it's a fundamental that people are missing. It's a way of seeing social media that I think is being sort of misconstrued, that's causing people to think that certain things work. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how social media marketing is really about marketing socially and how to understand how social media works. So that you can get the most out of it. It doesn't make sense spending a ton of energy doing different things if it's not serving you. So first and foremost, I do want to speak to that statement, right? Social media marketing is about marketing socially. So when you think about the word social is you of course engaging with others, right? But when you think about social media is the plural of the word medium. So social media is just a medium for you to be social. It's really just a medium for you to be social. It's not your business. Social media is a platform to enable you to connect with other people socially. Now, I've acknowledged that being social as a business owner is actually an art, and I made an acronym of the word ART that I want to touch on, and I want to elaborate on a little bit because again, it does create the fundamental pipeline that people should follow when looking to connect with people, sell more, be more, do more, have more, give more on social media, right? So first and foremost, the A stands for attention, all right? So when you are on social media, the first big thing that you have to get people to do is to pay you attention. They have to pay you attention. Now, when you think about what they're paying you, everyone is paying you in energy, okay? And they're paying you in energy. And I'm going to elaborate on this whole attention management thing later on in this presentation. But the first thing that you have to do ultimately is you have to get their attention. So if you were out somewhere in a physical location, you basically have to get somebody to look at you and listen to you, right? The first thing that you have to do on social media, though, is you have to get people to stop scrolling. What do you post or what do you do to get people to stop scrolling? That's the first micro action you need to get them to take. The next thing that you have to do is you have to get them to actually consume whatever it is that you posted, right? Now that leads to what makes you relevant. All right. So first thing, getting their attention, getting them to stop scrolling. Second thing is to become relevant. Now, the reason why relevance is so important is because people don't stop to consume things that they don't feel is relevant to them, whether it's their ability to be educated, empowered, or entertained. They don't pay much attention to things that are not relevant. So if you can get good at getting attention, but if you're not getting relevance, that's still a problem. Now, social media is when you look at how people use technology. There is a limited amount of virtual real estate that Facebook has. So they have to be very smart about who they present what to. which kind of ties into the previous post that I made today, which was, people need to stop posting 10 times across a bunch of different groups because the algorithm is essentially deprecating their relevance. You do not want social media to deprecate your relevance. You are essentially, you're being governed by Facebook. Okay. Now, the last thing, you get their attention, you get relevance. The last thing is trust. So that is, as a business owner, that is the tail end of the pipeline to being able to get somebody to say, hey, you know what? You got my attention. What you offer, what you do is relevant to who I am, where I am, what I am. And I trust that you can deliver in terms of providing me what it is that I need to, solve whatever problem I have. Right. So I say all of that to say this: it is an art to being able to get there. Okay. It's an art to being able to get there. And it's important to ensure that you have every element of that pipeline, because anything missing from that pipeline will not produce the results that's going to benefit your business the most. It's just not. So I want to take a dive into how social media works. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this relevance piece, because I think that's the piece that typically confuses a lot of people. So relevance on social media is based on the investment of energy. Hey Rick, what's going on, man? No, I didn't record it, dude. This is live, man. This is based on the investment of energy. And by the way, I do want to take a brief pause here. Rick, what's good, man? I see a few people on here. I see we got like 8-9 people on here. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. So this is based on energy, the investment of energy. Okay. So social media is deeming your relevance based on how much energy your audience is actually giving you. So it's important for you to understand how to count your social coins. Let's just call it counting your social coins. All right. So let's jump into what that actually means. So energy dictates relevance. Your network is the starting point to your actual relevance, right? So first and foremost, who you know and who knows you is going to dictate your relevance, right? So if you're connected with a bunch of high schoolers, Facebook is not going to be recommending friends to you or presenting your content to people who are executives at corporations. All right. So let's start there. Your network is the starting point to who they're determining you are actually relevant to. All right. So the reason I put this first is because some of you are playing the numbers game. Some of you are playing a numbers game. Some of you, like you literally, you think that by having more friends, more people will see you on social media. Doesn't work like that. You have to ensure that your audience is tailored, or your audience is becoming the audience that you're looking to also attract. So what I've observed recently is Facebook only recommends business owners to me now. Like Facebook only recommends business owners to me, people who own a business who are a part of different groups, business related groups. Those are the people that Facebook recommends to me, or people who are in tech, or people who are creatives. Those are the people that Facebook recommends to me. And that just goes to show how Facebook dictates my relevance. Now, if you are seeing that Facebook is recommending a bunch of people that just do not fit the network that you want to have, I'll put it that way, then you need to tailor the current network that you have. All right. And I'm going to jump into the other points of relevance here. Right. So it starts with your network. Now, a point that increases relevance is when people engage or when people like your content. Okay, so the people within your network, the people outside of your network, people are going to be liking your content. When people like your content, I relate liking to pennies. It's like somebody just gave you a penny, right? Liking increases your relevance. Now, the reason why Facebook created a mechanism for you to be able to hold down a button and like, love, laugh, wow, angry, or cry is not just because they wanted to get empathetic response data from you, but it is because the investment of energy that it took you to do those things increases how relevant the content actually is. So I'm going to jump into this, right? Liking increases relevance, but loving is greater than liking. Okay? Loving is greater than liking. Emotions, other emotions are greater than liking. Okay? So if you're on Facebook right now, if you spend the energy to hold down that little button and move your finger over to the love, the cry, the wow, if you do that, Facebook sees that post as being more relevant, ultimately making you more relevant because somebody invested a little bit more energy to respond to what it is that you actually posted. Okay, which is one of the reasons why, like, I made a couple posts I made a couple posts the other day, and you'll notice that like I got like 200 something people who laughed at a post, right? But what was funny was after the first 15, 20 people laughed, I noticed a huge uptick in the people that were laughing. The reason why was because Facebook, when Facebook believes that the sentiment of the people should be a little bit happier, they're going to start putting more weight to things that's going to make them happy. During the period of time when, like this past weekend, there weren't too many things that people were laughing at after the tragic incident that happened with Kobe Bryant. Facebook knew that was a hyper relevant and hyper that's a big event. So Facebook wanted to index on that feeling. So all you saw was that, and you saw articles that about like children being lost. There were articles about the Trump impeachment. There was a bunch of stuff that perpetuated that feeling a bit because Facebook knew that the stronger people feel about that, the more they're gonna log in and they're gonna engage and they're gonna feel a certain way. All right. So going back to emotions are greater than liking. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, right? Commenting is greater than emotions. So I just said I just mentioned, right, like the amount of energy that people invest in your content is what dictates. There's a very complex contextual algorithm that determines your relevance. If people spend the energy to comment, that is more relevant. That adds more relevance to whatever that post is than just the emotions, just clicking on a button. All right. All of this stuff, understanding this stuff is what ensures that you as a business owner, you're capable of getting the most out of anything that you're doing on social media. All right. If you're still with me, say hey in the comments. I want to make sure that I'm not boring you guys. Are you guys still there? I see about 8-9 people on here. You guys still there? All right. I'm just going to move on. So commenting is more relevant than emotions and liking. Sharing is more relevant than commenting. Now, when you think about what somebody just did when they shared your content, when someone shared your content, they not only looked at what it was and they engaged with it, they decided to share it with their network. When was let me ask you this, right? If you had a plumber, right? If you had a plumber, your plumber came into your house, did their thing, and totally destroyed your bathroom. Would you share that plumber's information with your mother? Or with your parents, or with your sister? Would you share that plumber's information? No, you won't. You won't share that information. You will only share information that you trust your network would want to consume. That is one of the ultimate forms of relevance. So if you can get people within your network or even outside of your network, because many posts are public, if you could get people to share, that is even more relevant than commenting, liking, loving, laughing. That is more relevant than all of those. All right. So again, it is the investment of energy. Investment of energy. All right. Now, the last one here is messaging. So this is where people tend to get tripped up. This is when people get tripped up. Many people think that the action happens where everyone sees, which is the actual platform itself. That is not true as a business owner. The action happens in the messaging. The reason why Facebook created a platform of messaging is because they wanted to see who was so relevant, who is so relevant that someone's willing to have a conversation with them. Who's so relevant that someone's willing to have a conversation with them. Now, the reason, so some people ask me, they're like, "Oh, Mike, like, how do you get so many people to engage with like some of the content that you put into different groups?" And my answer is very simple. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. I just did a live in my Gorilla Launch group, and I was explaining how I literally, from the morning time, I will literally send out a ton of messages just to touch base with people. Hey, what's going on? Happy Monday. Hey, on the week. Hope all is well. Hey, what's going on? I see you doing your thing. I saw you at that event. Hey, what's going on? I see you having an event coming up. Good luck. Hey, what's going on? I see you just started a new business. Hey, let me know if you have any questions. Hey, what's going on? I see that you need a landscaper. You should talk to Joe over here. Hey, I see that you need a wedding planner. You should talk to Whitney. Hey, I see you need, a marketer. You should talk to me, right? So I literally spend time in Messenger because that is truly when Facebook sees that you're having all of these conversations, that they're like, this guy has to be relevant to these people. It's literally like, it's like they let him into their house, right? Like, if someone's having a conversation with you, that is the ultimate form of relevance to Facebook and Instagram. So it goes down in the DM, okay? Messaging is key. Messaging is key. If you don't have the time to message, hire a virtual assistant. If you don't have the time to message, hire a virtual assistant. If you don't have time to message, hire a virtual assistant. Okay, that is I would say, messaging is more important than a website. Messaging is more important than every post you can potentially make. Messaging is more important than anything that people share. Your relevance is dramatically based on the energy people give you, and when people are messaging you, that is huge. Now, Relevance earns you virtual real estate. Like I mentioned earlier today, like when you're scrolling through Facebook, when you're scrolling through your platform, Facebook is calculating who should be in that feed, and they're making these micro millisecond decisions to determine who should be presented next in your feed, and they're doing that for everybody. All right. Now, when you are more relevant to people, you earn more real estate. You will show up in feeds more because Facebook is saying, hey, this guy is relevant. This guy is relevant. We need to, or this gal is relevant. We need to put them in other people's feed. So, there was supposed to be another transition to get into here, right? But let's talk about the relationship that you have with Facebook, okay? Facebook loves when you do one thing, okay? Facebook loves when you do one thing. And that one thing is, if you are good at keeping people on their platform, they will love you forever. That's actually the real reason. That's the real reason why video is very key. That's the real reason video is very key. The real reason video is key is because when people consume content that has a time component to it, it keeps people on. It keeps that app open longer. The longer that app is open and the longer that app being open is attributed to you, the more points you get. Facebook will love you. Facebook will give you points for that. So when you record videos, when you go live, when you do different things, and you engage people in a way that's keeping them on the platform, Facebook will give you more points and it will earn you virtual real estate. You will be rewarded. You will be rewarded for keeping people on the platform. Keep people on the platform. Suggestion of things to look for when finding an effective and trustworthy virtual messenger. I would say I would say to answer your question. The best thing that you can do is to find someone who can have your tone, your brand tone, okay? Find someone who can have your brand tone and has interest in, so an example would be like, let's say you're into if you're into sports or something, right? No, I'm sorry. Let's say you're not into sports. Somebody's not into sports. They wouldn't be the best person to have as a virtual messenger for a sports company because, you know, they might get some questions that can't be answered. Their tone also wouldn't be there. If you have a women's brand, you're not going to hire a man to send, you know, some of the messages, right? So there's just different things that you have to key into. Basically, find somebody who can speak. Find somebody who can speak to your audience in a way that is aligned with what you think they would respond best to. Felice, keep people on the platform, don't quite understand. So the Facebook app, all of us keep this app open a certain amount of time, okay? All of us keep this app open a certain amount of time. That is aligned. So the thing about the amount of time that you spend on this app, Facebook is looking at every little thing you do. Now, this is the thing that Facebook hates. Facebook hates when you do this. Facebook doesn't like that. Facebook also doesn't like when you do this. Facebook also doesn't like when you do this. Facebook doesn't like that. Facebook likes when you stay on the platform. So an example would be just the mere fact that you guys are still on this live. Facebook is saying, hey, this guy This saying, first of all, this guy is keeping people on with the Facebook app open for over 25 minutes. And second of all, whatever he's saying, because Facebook doesn't really know what I'm saying, whatever he's saying has to be relevant to these people. So Facebook's going to look at all of you and look at what your interests are, what groups you're a part of, what pages you like, what things you post, what you like, what you don't like, what you laugh at, what you cry at. Facebook's looking at all of that to see what common area there would be. Based off of that common area, that is going to be the determining factor in terms of who Facebook recommends should follow my content. So if all 10 of you like business pages, Facebook is going to recommend my content to other people that like business pages. So keeping people on the platform, what it really means is you being able to enable or activate. Not activate. That's a wrong word. You being able to do what you can to keep people with that app open. That's why video is so good. Keep people on the platform. You will be rewarded with attention. Like when you keep people, if you get people to keep that app open, you're going to be rewarded with attention. So, I wanted this to be quick. All in all, my big thing on this post was, how to become relevant, and just as a quick recap, I went through the fact that energy is what dictates who gives you energy. That is what dictates. That's what dictates how often people see you in different feeds. It also dictates who Facebook recommends to you. It also dictates when your content is actually presented. Energy dictates relevance. The energy that people give you. The starting point. Network is the starting point to who you're relevant to. Who you're connected to, Facebook is looking at all of that. I'm sure that you've seen that quote that says, look at your closest 5 friends, and whoever they are, that's who you are, right? Facebook is determining who you are based off of who you're connecting with. It is an absolute universal truth. Liking increases your relevance. Clicking that like button, when people click the like button on your posts, that increases your relevance. When they do other things, when they love it, that's greater than liking. When they do any of the other emotions, that's greater than liking and loving. When they comment, that is more relevant than emotions. When they share, that is more relevant than commenting. And when they message, that makes you more relevant than sharing. Again, that is when people message, that is a more intimate action that has been taken. And so Facebook says this person, it must be relevant to this person if they're willing to talk to them. Again, I keep referencing the term virtual real estate because that's exactly what it is. As when you open up that app, your first thing is you need to get people to stop scrolling. You have to get people to stop scrolling. It's you capturing their attention is huge. Again, as a business owner, being social is an art. Being social is an art, okay? A stands for attention. Get them to stop scrolling and get them to pay you attention. After they pay you attention, you got to make sure that you're very relevant to these people. How do you determine relevance, right? Relevance is based on the type of content and type of messaging and narrative that you actually have and how it aligns with people's interests and what things they might even want. So, you have to always think, you always have to think, what can I do today that people will engage with that will make me more relevant to who they are, where they are, and what they are. And then the last piece as a business owner is gaining their trust. You have to gain their trust, all right? That is the art to becoming relevant and being social on social media. Again, this is all about it's not about social media marketing. It's not about social media marketing. It's about being able to market socially. All right? Any questions? I want to open it up. We're right at 30 minutes right now. We're at 30 minutes. Any questions? We got 12 people on here. Do you have any questions about social media marketing, relevance, organic marketing? You can ask me anything. The floor is open. I just want to answer a few questions, and I'm gonna hop off here and knock out a few more tasks before the end of the day. Any questions? Ooh. Questions. My computer is screaming over here. Screaming. Any questions? For Felice. All right. So, I'll start with Felice. What would you recommend one focus on first? So I would say that the first thing that anybody should focus on is the audience that they're looking to attract. So everybody that you believe will want to consume your stuff or consume your products or consume your information or anything, these individuals, you have to understand who these individuals are. So what are some of the questions they have? What are some of the things? What are some of the things they typically ask for? So knowing your audience is gonna enable you to create content to fit their questions and where their mind is and how their mind works. So I always say focus on your audience first and work backwards from there. I also say that in order to become better at being social, you have to become social more. All right. In order to become better at being social, you got to become social more. So I went live earlier today and I said that one of the things that this guy Ramit Sethi taught me was to interview people who just purchased services that you provide. So if you're, and I always, he used the wedding planner. He used the wedding planner example. He said, hey, if you're a wedding planner, go out and ask a bunch of people who just got married some questions. Ask them questions like, hey, what are some things that you were scared of? What did you like the most about your wedding? What was the best part of that day? And after they start answering, they're going to say, oh, I was so scared that the flowers wouldn't show up. I was so scared that, things weren't being coordinated. I was so scared that this and this wouldn't happen. After you start to get into the minds of the people that don't even expect anything from you, then you take that information and you go to the people that haven't rendered those services yet. Once you start to communicate with them, you're going to start to say stuff like, yeah, a lot of the people who just got married, these are some of the fears they have. This is what they tell me their fears are. And what's going to happen is those people are going to feel like you were in their head. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're in my mind. You're not in their mind. You just captured information from people who have already they've already experienced going through it. You gain experience through being social. So understand your audience, be social, ask them questions, and then work backwards and create content that will align with moving them closer to you. Create content that will align with moving them closer to you. Provide value and become a magnet. And I promise, this whole social media thing is going to definitely pay off. Silo structure and marketing. Silo structure and marketing. I'm not sure if that was a question. Felice, in regards to building my brand, what kind of work do you do, Felice? Oh, you have the Yes, yes. You have the married as one. You have the married as one business, right? Yes. I definitely so here's the thing with I help spouses communicate better. Oh, I loved. All right, so here's the thing with you, Phillies. Here's the thing with you. See, and I'm gonna hop on. I'm gonna hop on your page for a second here, right? I'm gonna like your page, give you some love. Um, Here's the thing with you, right? Um, See, what I want you to do. No, absolutely. Oh my gosh, what I want you to do, Felice. What I want you to do is, um, first and foremost, you need to have an asset that could be considered bait. That would be an ebook, a worksheet, like a couple's communication worksheet. Download the ultimate, marriage communication worksheet. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could literally be it could be very similar to, like, let's say, like, there's the 5 love languages. The way that they get you indoctrinated into their brand is by having you take a little quiz. If you get people to download a worksheet, but in order for them to get the worksheet and in order for them to do some of the exercises that you would be recommending, they have to give you their email address. That would be an amazing lead generation mechanism for you socially. Now, the more people that give you their email addresses, the more people that engage. What you do is you can take their testimonials. You have them do their own work. You take their testimonials and you share that, right? Hey, look at what my content is doing. When people say, man, his free stuff, his free exercises is moving mountains when it comes to how spouses communicate. Imagine what the paid stuff is. They're gonna come to your events. They're gonna buy your book. They're gonna buy your workbook. They're gonna buy your training. They're gonna come to your workshops. They're going to attend. But if just by hopping on your page and on the website, I didn't see any free offerings, any free downloads, any worksheets, any cheat sheets. I see here that you're finishing up your communication and marriage book. At the end, I have a Q&A section. This is your chance to ask questions you want to. Da-da-da. Perfect. Yeah, you're writing a book. Dope. I love that you're writing a book. You need something smaller than a book. Smaller than a book. A worksheet, a cheat sheet. So again, something that is easy for people to consume, and something that you can post all over the place. Something you can post in different groups. People can share. I think that will help you tremendously. Tremendously. Actually, you know what? Hey, look, no, absolutely not. I think you have something. I know you're already writing a book, but I just dropped my link. In here. I'm gonna pin this comment. I just pinned the comment. If you want to have a discussion, about ways for you to generate leads and generate leads and grow and be able to create a pipeline to your products. All right, so check this out. Look at this. Hold on. This is a presentation that I did. Earlier today. Okay, I did this presentation earlier today on how to get, where are you? I did this presentation earlier today on how to get people to inquire on your services and in your case, your products on a consistent basis, right? This is the typical pipeline of anybody that buys anything, okay? The first thing is you getting a lead, okay? You have to get a lead. A lead is nothing more than an unqualified prospect. A prospect is a qualified lead. Now, with you, in order for you to get really nice leads, it's important for you to put out things that people will bite on. Have you ever heard the quote, they never fish? Like if you went fishing, fish, they never see the hook. They only see the bait. Fish never see the hook. They only see the bait. The key as a marketer and a business owner is to create very irresistible bait that people want to bite on, but you have a hook behind it. Give me your email address. Like this page. Do this. Do that. Schedule this call. Join in on this live. Join in on this webinar. That webinar, the call to action is the purchase of the book. One time only offer. I think that will dramatically amplify your ability to not just, because this is what I see most of the time with authors. I don't know why I swipe that hard at Nats. Like I have to like knock them out or something. The thing that what I see happen with a lot of authors is they write a book, they put in all this energy, and then they say, got a book, and then they have this big explosive set of activity, and then it tapers off. They sell a bunch of books, or they sell a moderate amount of books. Their friends buy the books. Their friends' friends buy the book. They take it a few places. They do a couple tours. They do a book signing. They do a book release. They get some sales, and then it does this. It tapers off. It tapers off. If you want to create a consistent set of sales or a consistent mechanism to consistently sell the book, especially seeing that is timeless, highly recommend that you create some bait for people to consume, and then you use that to get people's attention. You use that to determine your relevance, and then you use that to gain their trust enough to buy your stuff. I know I went totally off with that, but so any other questions? Any other questions? Again, I am huge on tips and suggestions for powerful strategic email marketing. Yeah. I mean, so I'll tell you this, right? The best book you can read that will position you to dominate email marketing is .NET Secrets. .NET Secrets by Russell Brunson. You get .NET Secrets by Russell Brunson. That is an absolutely amazing book. One of the first things that it talks about is something called a soap opera series. So first and foremost, back in the days, what people used to subscribe to, people would subscribe. April said, "Can you start over?" Absolutely not. No, I'm gonna. You'll be able to see the replay. I'll send it to you. What was I saying? Oh yeah, back in the day when email marketing was new, what people would do, they would say, "Oh, sign up for my newsletter. Subscribe to my newsletter. Subscribe. Let me tell you this, and let me tell you all this very. I have 100% conviction about this. Okay. When people see the word newsletter or subscribe, when they see those words, you will never get their real email address. I'm telling you that now. You will never get their real email address. Now, in order to get their real email address, again, you have to have some bait. They never see the hook. You have to have some bait. When you say, "Hey, do you want this workbook? Do you want to take this quiz? Do you want this assessment? Do you want this cheat sheet? Do you want this free ebook?" If you want it, I'll email it to you. What's your email address? They want to get that email because that offer was irresistible. So I said it to say this. The first part to utilizing their email is to indoctrinate them into who you are, who your brand is. So there's something called a soap opera series, which is an automated set of emails that goes out to a new subscriber based on the date that they subscribed. Within his book, he recommends 5 emails that goes out in a soap opera style fashion. And then after the soap opera is done, you've indoctrinated them into your brand by either telling them a story, providing some insights, providing them with an epiphany, providing them with some type of substance that will make them say, hey, you know what, I want to continue following this person. That's when they get into what's called a Seinfeld series. Seinfeld, when you think about the show Seinfeld, it was literally a bunch of shows about nothing. There was no continuity to the shows, right? But you always wanted to pay attention because it was entertaining, right? But from there, that is similar to your email blasts. You can now blast them emails with things that just come to mind because you've already indoctrinated them into your brand. They've stayed a part of your list, and whatever you say is now relevant to them. You've validated that what you provide is aligned with their interests. So then you send them what's called Seinfeld emails. So very good book. I highly recommend it. It's one of the strategies that I think is fairly universal. Not a big fan of not a huge fan of don't just send out tips. Oh, I'm sorry, not tips. Don't just send out discounts or, hey, you want a discount? Don't just send that out. Make people want to open your emails. Give them some knowledge, give them some tips, give them a link to a YouTube. Say, hey, check out this blog post, do this, do that. Like, start to do different things that will make them say, hey, you know what? Like, I opened up his or her email and like I got some value from it, So, I'm going to open up these emails more often. Give them stuff that they can consume so that you can nurture that relationship and build that trust. I hope I answered that question. So Toyin says, in terms of e-commerce, would you say that you need to have a big audience on your page already to bring attention and sales before running ads? Or would you say funneling an audience outside of social media is more effective? I think that it works. I think a lot of it works hand in hand. All of the emails that you generate, you're able to import that into the Facebook Manager to create an audience that you can run ads to. So all of the emails that you have in your email list, you can definitely run ads to them as long as those emails are associated with a Facebook account. I would say, however, that when you do have the emails, you have a little bit more control over when and what they see. Again, Facebook does not present your content to everybody. Facebook is a governor of content. So it will censor what it feels it wants to present to people based off of what it thinks is relevant to them at that moment. So, but again, going back to e-commerce, right? If you, I do not believe you need to have a big audience. You do not need to have a big audience to run ads. What you need to have is an offer. What you need to have is an offer. If you think about this, as you scroll through your feed, you're going to see sponsored ads. You're going to see sponsored ads, and you're going to see some of the ads are going to be a video. It might be a photo. It might be a long form text write-up that people have written. I'll be honest with you. Very rarely do I click on the person first before I engage with the ad. So that's very telling behaviorally because if somebody sees something that really compels them and brings them, it really captures their attention, they're going to engage with it. Once they engage with it, it is what you drew them to that will determine how effective the ad is, not your following. There's people I've run ads for that had 3 people following their page, and by the time we were done, we had a couple thousand. Now, did the follower increase because we ran ads? No. it didn't increase because we ran ads. It was because the offers that we presented were hyper relevant to the target that we were approaching. We were presenting we were presenting information to people that it was hyper relevant to, so don't worry about audience. Focus on irresistible offers. You want to give. You want to be a go-giver. Become a go-giver. You want to become really good at advertising? Become a go-giver, an amazing go-giver, and people will give you their attention and they will give you their money. Promise. You give more, you get more. Ryan, what's good, man? Stephanie, hey, what's up? Shannon, I see you. I'm getting some direct messages. So I'm at 50 minutes. I do my absolute best not to go over an hour. I've been drinking on an empty stomach, so I have to start cooking. But I highly encourage you all. So first and foremost, I pinned my link in the hey Stephanie, what's up? I pinned my link in the comments here. I pinned my link in the comments here. If you did want to set up a 15-minute chat, look, I set up these 10, 15-minute chats with people, and it just gives me the opportunity to hear what you got going on. Some people, I'm like, hey, you know what? You should try doing this. Boom, boom, boom. Try this out. Hit me up next week and let me know. Hit me up next week. Let me know how that went, right? I have people that, we briefly speak and I say, hey, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried this tool? Have you tried this system? Have you done this? Have you done that? And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so valuable. But then I also have the people that we hop on a call and they're like, Mike, I get everything you're saying, but I might need some help, So definitely there to provide some support as well. So if there's anything that I can, help you with that's aligned with my services, would love to do that as well. If there's anybody I can introduce you to, anything to help you sell more, I would love for you to set up some time to chat with me so that I can, so that I could be a resource to you, all right? So I don't think I see any other... Thank you, Donna. I don't see any other questions or anything like that. I started marketing years ago, and I think I see what matters in business and I see what matters in careers. I see what matters with regards to people's ability to grow their business, their ventures, and a lot of it hinges on their ability to move people to do things. Investors moving people to do things, entrepreneurs moving people to do things, employers moving people to do things, business owners moving people to do things, salespeople moving people to do things, influencers moving people to do things, celebrities moving people to do things, performers moving people to do things. You get the point, right? And I've noticed that social media is an extremely powerful tool, and I just want you guys to acknowledge this power. I think it would be amazing if more people can acknowledge the power in the true power of social media, and I want to be a resource to you, all right? So let me know if I can help out in any way. You can continue asking questions. I'll answer. I'll shoot you a message or a video in your inbox. But thanks for chiming in, and I hope you guys have a great start to the week. Happy Monday, and take care.